was
This
really
conference will now be recorded.
a cruise because you get so many opportunities to go along the coast and then go inland to many of the different places. Today we have an excellent presenter, Mitch. He's with Azamara and he's going to be sharing with all the opportunities. He recently went. I've been to South Africa, highly recommend it, and think you'll enjoy this opportunity to see what's in South Africa and really a great way to see it. So with that, let me just introduce you to a little bit about who Travel Central is. So we're going to go ahead and hit the slide, Mitch. So Travel Central's been in business since 1988. Our whole sole purpose is to ensure that clients go on seamless vacations and it's seamless from the planning process to your return home. We ensure that all your little pieces and parts are put together. And in today's world, with all the new travel and health protocols, which are all fantastic enhancements, it's good to know that someone has the resources and the talents to find that information for you quickly and easy. I believe the most important thing we offer to any traveler is a dedicated advisor, one person who handles all your questions, is an advocate for you if there is any challenges arise, and making sure that everything's done so that when you go on vacation, you come back with just great memories. And we also have some great amenities. And so we have some exclusive amenities that we can offer our travelers that is part of our network. And so that's something that you can't get in many places. And so we're glad to be able to offer exclusive amenities. With that, now I'm going to turn it over to Mitch. Like I said, Mitch is with Azamara Cruise Line. You'll find this to be a great cruise line. It's probably not a household name yet, but when you leave this presentation, you'll be really thinking of a place to go. And South Africa, of course, is a wonderful destination. So Mitch, it's your turn now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Melinda, and welcome everybody to the presentation on Azamara and Azamara's voyages to South Africa. South Africa is absolutely one of my favorite destinations in the entire world, and we'll delve a little bit further into the itinerary and things to see and do in South Africa. But before we get to that point, I do want to introduce you to Azamara. I love to start out the presentation with this photograph, and what I love about this photograph, it's taken at night. Azamara is known for the most port-intensive itineraries out there in the marketplace. We have carefully curated and crafted these itineraries, really hugging the coastlines around the world of various places that we go to. But really what the secret sauce is, we spend more time in the destinations than anybody else. In fact, we were the pioneers of staying in port, not only during the daytime, but also after the sun sets. And that allows our guests to experience these wonderful destinations, not only during daylight hours, but after sundown. And so many of these incredible destinations around the world transform from daytime to nighttime. That really creates what we call destination immersion. And again, it's the itineraries that sets us apart. We offer more overnights than any other cruise product. We're probably the closest cruise product to a land package, simply because, again, we're very port intensive, and you're able to experience these wonderful destinations after dark, and that allows our guests to tour at night. In addition, Azamara was the pioneers of introducing country intensive voyages, of which South Africa is one of them. So truly, these are voyages solely focused on a specific country, really giving you a deeper dive into that specific country, delving into the culture, the customs, the culinary, and the historical aspects. Another aspect of Azamara I do want to touch on, so you have a greater understanding, are our inclusive amenities. So what's included on any Azamara voyage? Number one is your gratuities. Number two are your beverages. And by beverages, I mean standard hard spirits, wines by the glass, selection of beer, bottled water, soft drinks, and especially coffees, such as cappuccinos and lattes. And then we also include what we call our Azamazing evening event. This is more than a shore excursion. It's an authentic cultural event at one of the ports of call that we overnight in, or we have a late night departure, one per voyage. We also offer complimentary shuttle services. 9 times out of 10, because of the size of our vessel, we dock right in the heart of town. Occasionally, the center of town may be a few miles away, and if that's the case, we do shuttle our guests complimentary to and from the center of town. In addition to that, one thing that's not mentioned that I love to point out is we do also offer complimentary self-service laundry. And it really, in my personal opinion, it really is a great benefit. So one is able to do their own laundry on board, because many of our voyages tend to be a bit longer. You don't have to pack an additional suitcase and incur the additional baggage fees that the airlines impose. The size of our vessels are 30,000 gross registered tons. And what that means in layman's terms is approximately 700 guests and 408 crew members. So the staff to guest ratio is really incredible. For every staff member, it's 1.7 guests. And that really interprets to over the top service. Here's just some images of our late nights and overnights at the various destinations around the world that we go to. And again, this gives you that whole different perspective of experiencing these wonderful places after dark. Give me 1 second here. So let me walk you through the ships for any of you who may not have been on an Azamara cruise ship previously. We have currently 3 identical vessels, soon to get our 4th vessel that will be joining our fleet in May. The ships are all identical. They're sister ships. For those of you who may have been cruising for quite some time, these are the former Renaissance cruise ships. Azamara was actually born in 2007. We purchased 2 of their ships and have subsequently added 2 more. As you can see, our ships underwent millions of dollars of renovation a couple of years back. And so when you walk on our ships, you truly feel like you're walking into a boutique resort. All of our ships are very well appointed. The staterooms are extremely comfortable. And the way these ships were built is that 90% of the staterooms are exterior facing, and approximately 85% of the exterior facing rooms have balconies or verandas. So no matter what type of category of stateroom you may consider to purchase, the staterooms are going to be absolutely delightful. Once you go into our suite category, we do offer some additional suite amenities. You get your own personal English-style butler, and probably the best benefit, in my personal opinion, is for suite guests, we do extend complimentary specialty dining, and that is offered every evening if you so choose. Otherwise, there is a $30 per person specialty dining fee. Walking through our public areas, we have a beautiful outdoor pool deck area. The living room is our lounge on our upper deck. It features 3 sides of floor-to-ceiling windows. It's really quite a multi-purpose room. During the daytime, it's rather quiet. But in the late afternoon, we set up tapas, we have wine tastings, and then at 6 o'clock, we have our trio that will be playing music for pre-dinner dancing and cocktails. And at 10 o'clock at night, it converts to our dance club with a DJ playing music to the wee hours of the morning. The den is our lounge right in the center of the ship, in between our cabaret show lounge and our main dining room. And this really is the heartbeat of the ship during the cruise, where people tend to gather, have cocktails, and meet with their fellow guests. We also have a pianist that entertains the guests in the den in the evening. We have a full-service spa and fitness center. So if you want to keep up your exercise routine, you certainly can. We also have classes such as spin or yoga. There are no charges for the classes. Azamara has incredible entertainment for a ship our size. We have our own orchestra. We also have our own production shows. And if there's not a production show going on, we'll have guest entertainers throughout the course of the cruise. But the beautiful thing about sailing with Azamara is quite often we're in port at night. So you do not necessarily have to be reliant on the entertainment on the ship. It just gives you that choice. So if you do want to go ashore at night, you're more than welcome to do so. Dining on Azamara is superlative. Number one, there's 2 key points I do want to mention for dining. Number one, it is country club casual attire, no dress up, no formal nights. And in the main dining room Discoveries, which is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it is open seating. So you can eat with whom you want and when you want. We do have 2 specialty dining rooms. Prime C is our steakhouse, and Aquilina is our Italian restaurant. These are reservations only. You make the reservations when you first board the ship. Again, if you're in a suite, it is complimentary. Otherwise, it is a $30 per person surcharge. But going to Prime C, it's like eating at Ruth Chris or Morton Steakhouse. And there's no way in the heck that you can walk away from dining at Morton's for $30 a person. We have several casual dining options as well. Mosaic Cafe offers snacks throughout the course of the day. It also is our cafe where we serve cappuccinos, lattes, specialty coffees, etc. And also a great gathering place to visit with your fellow travelers. Windows is our buffet on deck. It's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It really is an incredible buffet. And I'll just share with you a very quick story. In the past, I always steered away from cruise ship buffets for dinner until I first sailed on Azamara back in 2011 when I went on personal vacation. And I saw in the Daily Planner Indian themed buffet, and I love Indian food. So we decided to go up there for dinner. It was remarkable. It was as good, if not better, than any Indian restaurant I've ever eaten here in the States. So my point is, don't be afraid to try Windows at dinner when you're sailing on Azamara. Then we have the patio. The patio is another casual dining option. It's located by the pool area. It is outdoors, although it is covered. During the day, it's a grill with a very extensive salad bar. But at night, we dress it up. We put out the tablecloths. We have tableside dining with an expanded dinner menu. And then, of course, we have 24 hours room service. One thing about Azamara is we cover the globe. We go to all 7 continents. So if there's a destination that you are interested in going to, please consider Azamara. And now we will delve a little bit further into one of my favorite places in the world, South Africa. And South Africa really means a lot to me. When I was in high school, I actually was a foreign exchange student in South Africa for a year. I was actually in Johannesburg. And then back in early 2019, I had the opportunity to go back there. And this was the first time back since I was there in high school when I was 16. And it is such a remarkable destination. And what I love about this itinerary is you're going to see a lot of South Africa during the course of the cruise. And you're going to be going to some of my favorite places within the country as well. So let's take a deeper dive into the specifics of the itinerary. But before we do that, let's talk about some helpful hints when visiting South Africa. Number one, since we're going to be going there in January, that is their summer. And the summertime temperatures can be hot and humid. Now, Cape Town is going to be very much a similar climate to, let's say, a San Diego per se. It is absolutely beautiful. But once you get further up the coast, especially when you go to Durban or Richards Bay, it's going to be very similar to Miami. You're going to have that humidity. The South Africa rand is goes very, for the US dollar, goes very, very far. So South Africa is still one of those destinations where you can get a lot of spend for the US dollar. Their electrical is different. It's 230 volts. So please bring the adapters, the plug types D and M, and you can see a photograph of what the adapter looks like. No yellow fever vaccines are required. One thing to pack is insect repellent with DEET. That is going to be very important, especially when you go on the game drives throughout the course of the cruise. You definitely want to bring cottons and linen clothing, dry fit materials, khakis, cargo pants, zip-off shorts are perfect. Long sleeves for the morning and protection from the sun, and also lightweight rain gear just in case it begins to rain. But most importantly, do not forget a sun hat because it is quite sunny and you definitely don't want to get sunburned. And of course, sturdy footwear. I definitely would encourage you to bring hiking shoes if you are able to as well. But going to South Africa, you definitely want to see the Big Five. And the Big Five includes the lions, the leopards, the rhinos, the water buffalo, and of course the elephants. And you're going to have plenty of opportunity throughout the course of the cruise to experience the Big Five. And to do so, you're going to be going on these incredible game drives, and that's available in almost all of the ports of call that we will be going on during the course of the cruise. And you'll be on these vehicles. There is stadium seating, so you just want to be able to get on the vehicles comfortably. But it is really quite remarkable because when you're doing the game drives, not only will you have the driver, you're also going to have the tracker who will be seated in the jump seat. And the tracker is really critical because the tracker is going to be the person that will be looking out for the paw prints in the dirt, also looking at the animal droppings as well, and really is responsible for getting you up close and personal with these incredible wildlife that you're going to see throughout South Africa. Just one other point I do want to mention for the game drives is make sure, and I just want to mention this, and please forgive me, but there are no restrooms when you're on the game drive. So be cognizant of that, the length of the drive, etc., and plan accordingly. But we're going to begin the cruise in Port Elizabeth. This is really one of the sunniest destinations in all of South Africa. It is home to vibrant communities, worldly flavors, and safari-worthy wildlife. Port Elizabeth, otherwise known as PE, is a piece of paradise on Nelson Mandela Bay. It was established in 1820 by British settlers, and in this photo of the southern tip of Algoa Bay, you see the pretty Cape Recife lighthouse dating back to 1851. So in Port Elizabeth, known as the Friendly City, the highlights are going to be elephants. You're going to have plenty of opportunities to see elephants, penguins. We'll talk about the game reserves, the city itself, and one of the most beautiful beaches is King's Beach. And then we also offer an overnight experience to Shamwari Reserve as well. But let's touch on first Addo Elephant Park. This malaria-free Big Five reserve at Addo Elephant Park is just 45 minutes drive outside of Port Elizabeth. It's a can't miss excursion because it offers one of the largest concentration of elephants within all of Africa. They got more than 600 pachyderms here. You're pretty much guaranteed elephant encounters. Apart from the Big Five, also be on the lookout for hyenas, zebras, antelope, and warthogs. Addo is nearly 445,000 acres. It's South Africa's third largest national park. So really quite remarkable, and this definitely is very much worthwhile. In addition to that, there are also two private game reserves that you can also experience as well if you so choose. The private game reserves are really quite enjoyable because they're highly regulated, much more so than the national parks. And when you go into the private game reserves, you're also able to go off-road and able to get up close and personal with the wildlife there. Port Elizabeth is also home to Victorian buildings, historic sites, and a great collection of engaging public art projects. 170-foot tall Campanile Memorial commemorates the rugged souls who settled here in 1820. Deeper into the city, you're going to find St. Mary's Cathedral, the City Hall building, the public library, and the Old Mayor Garden. You can stroll past the Opera House on your way to Donkin Memorial, a stone pyramid honoring the very Elizabeth from whom Port Elizabeth takes its name. And you can climb to Fort Frederick for excellent views of the coastline and the ship as well. And of course, King's Beach. And it does have the blue flag, which means it is awarded for its strict environmental water quality and various criteria. So if you're a beachgoer, you may want to venture to King's Beach. As we move on, we're going to go to East London. With the rugged and aptly named Wild Coast to the north and the Sunshine Coast to the south, you can immerse yourself in the surrounding scenic beauty of East London, affectionately known as the Buffalo City. With an African backdrop, English connections extend beyond the city name and traces of German heritage are also to be seen in this well-preserved, charming 19th century architecture. And some of the highlights for East London include the White Lions, Inquinquazi Private Game Reserve, connecting with the Xhosa culture, and the Nahoon Point Nature Reserve. As South Africa's only river point, East London's prime location between the Buffalo and Nahoon rivers offers breathtaking wildlife safari and the Amatola Mountains inland and some of the world's finest beaches in each direction along the coast. Unspoiled, uncrowded, sweeping white sands and dunes are the perfect place to stroll, swim, snorkel, bird watch, or just worship the golden sun. East London is an industrial port, and honestly, it's not that pretty. But guests venturing ashore independently can take a short stroll into the city center, where they'll find the East London Aquarium, the East London Museum, which is small, but one of the cool things about it, it's the home to the world's only surviving dodo egg. Its colonial history is seen today as the design of the 1921 built museum in the East London City Hall on Oxford Street, built in 1897. This is the only port that offers a chance to see white lions in the wild. So I would encourage you to definitely take advantage of that. And you can do so by going to the Inquinquazi Game Reserve. One thing about this region, it is home to the Xhosa culture. And if you're not familiar with the Xhosa culture, they have a very unique language. And their language is the language with the clicks. And I would try to speak it. I previously learned a few words, but it is like so difficult. But I'm going to do my attempt, so forgive me if I completely blow this. But I can't do it right now. Xhosa. If I don't know if you heard that, but it is so interesting to hear the clicks within their language. So if guests are looking for something more traditional and culturally focused, they can explore the Keo La Bunta, an open-air Xhosa cultural museum, to experience this culture. They can visit the community center, observe their custom songs and dances, walk through the village, browse handicrafts, and clothing, and sample local specialties. Some are available for purchase. Traditional villages of Xhosa can be found where the beach landscapes become more of agricultural ones. Most of the surrounding buildings in the area are made of mud and branches, which are very traditional for this area. You may also encounter traditional Xhosa dancers and singers providing a great show and exciting welcome to their village. The Nahoon Point Nature Reserve is dubbed one of the most scenic cultural reserves in the country. It is truly a gem within South Africa, not just for its extraordinary natural beauty and breathtaking vistas. It's a treasure trove of fossils. In fact, it is a very important prehistorical landmark and enjoys its status as a protected area as a result of that. Next on our stop is going to be going up to Maputo, Mozambique. It was settled by the Portuguese in the 1700s. Centuries of travel and trade from Africa, Asia, and Europe created Maputo's vibrant, diverse cultural scene. Easily explored by foot, Maputo's old town stretches northeast from the port. From here, the city's most prominent street, Avenida Julius Nyerere, parallels the coastline and passes the sprawling presidential palace and the stunning Hotel Polona. Must-see monuments include the City Hall, the railway station, Independence Square, the Todoro Gardens, and the Fort Maputo, built in 1867, which still holds remnants of Portugal's conquest and military equipment. Some other cool things to see is the Baixa, the old town, along with the markets, and then Mafalo, as well as the overnight experiences to Kruger National Park. So from here, you'll have the opportunity to get off the ship and do an overnight in Kruger and then rejoin the ship. The Mesquita de Baixa, the Maputo Cathedral, Independence Square are some of the must-see sites within the city. One of the must-sees, in my personal opinion, is to go to the FEMA market, located in the Parque de Gontiene. This open-air artisan market, abbreviated FEMA, is a treasure trove of stunning handmade items, so you might want to give yourself some time to get around it all. Sculptures, paintings, crafts, fabrics, and jewelry are just a small glimpse of what you can buy here. Stall holders expect a bit of bartering, so be prepared to get into the swing of banter and make your purchase for a good price. Best of all, you're supporting the local economy while bringing home some incredible authentic pieces and artwork. And then we're going to be going down to Richards Bay from Maputo. And here in Richards Bay, the highlights are going to be the KwaZulu-Natal, Big Five, hippos, crocodiles, also to Shushuli and Pelosi Park. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce the next one, but the Wetland Park, which is a UNESCO heritage site, and then overnight experiences to Finda. Richards Bay is one of the largest and deepest natural harbors in South Africa. It's also one of the main gateways to KwaZulu-Natal province in Zululand, the much larger inland region popular for its mountains, diverse wildlife, and vast surrounding savanna ecosystem. The industrial port of Richards Bay really offers little in the way of interest to visitors, but it is gateway to some of the superlative wildlife reserves, including Shushuli and Pelosi Park and the Wetland Park, as well as the entrance to the Zulu people. For me, it is the best port of the itinerary because of the diverse animal sightings that are possible. It's a young city, even though it began as a makeshift harbor set up in 1879. It was only properly established in 1950 and declared a city in 1969. It's grown rapidly and has a slightly haphazard look to it with an abundance of unattractive apartheid area architecture. A call to Richards Bay also means overnight experiences and beyond Tarinda, which is heavily involved in the rhino conservation, specifically restoring populations of black rhino, and one of the overnight experiences offers this focus. Move on to Shushuli and Pelosi Park. This is a tongue twister, of course, but the biologically diverse park presents one of South Africa's top game reserves. Bear with me here a second. This park offers a pleasing setting of steep cliffs, valleys, rivers, and watering holes, and wonderfully diverse flora and fauna, all about a 90-minute drive from Richards Bay. Visitors might encounter any of all the big five here, along with the population, including giraffes, antelopes, and wild dogs. Going on to the Imsangalizo Wetland Park, this is designated a UNESCO heritage site for the rich and varied ecosystems it encompasses. South Africa's first World Heritage Site, by the way. A 2-hour nature cruise on the St. Lucia is a highlight here, bringing visitors face-to-face with groups of hippos, enormous Nile crocodiles, and any of the 100 type of birds to be found here. It has over 135 miles of pristine oceans and coastlines. And by the way, Imsangaliso means miracle. Okay, I was able to pronounce it, or miraculous or wonder in English. It really has earned that name. It has over 6,500 plant and wildlife species, including the big five, leatherback and loggerhead turtles, flamingos, and beautiful coral reefs and marine ecosystems. Did you know the most dangerous animal in Africa isn't the lion or even the great white shark? It actually is the aggressive hippo. Definitely steer clear of them for sure. As we move south to Durban, it's often overlooked in favor of the more trendy Johannesburg or the popular Cape Town, but sunny Durban has been on the rise since it got revitalized to help host the 2010 World Cup Games, and it really is an unexpected delight in South Africa. I like to refer to Durban as kind of like the Miami Beach of South Africa. It's a very similar very similar climate with the humidity during the summertime, great surfing as well, and incredible beaches. Durban is home to the proud Zulu people and the largest Indian population in all of Africa. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Mahatma Gandhi actually lived in Durban before returning to India. It is a weave of colonial Victorian architecture, ornate mosques, and a rich tapestry of world cultures is found at every corner. It's a place where Catholic church spires mingle with minarets, where calls to prayer blend with the sounds of buzzing Indian markets, where the cheers of a soccer match pulse to the rhythm of native drum beats. Durban is a beautiful city, and it is also incredible beaches. But some of the highlights to see in Durban is the kudu, hippo, buffalo. You're going to be able to see the kudu, the hippo, the buffalo, giraffes, wildebeests, and elands. And some of the things the excursions to take advantage of would be the Tala Private Game Reserve, the Botanical Gardens, the Moses Mabhida Stadium, the Ushaka Marine World, and also offer overnight experience to both Victoria Falls and to Kruger National Park. Just a photograph of the Tala Game Reserve. This is a 7,500 acre wildlife conservatory. The Tala Game Reserve offers unique landscapes of grasslands, wetlands, acacia, thorn belt, provides haven to more than 300 types of birds, as well as hippos, rhinos, buffaloes, giraffes, and antelope. It's just an hour drive from the port, and definitely also worthwhile. Moving to their botanical gardens. This was established in 1849, and it is a 37-acre property. It's the oldest public institution and Africa's oldest surviving botanical gardens. It's a place of interest because of its many living fossil plants. These pre-dinosaur cycads date back to 250 million years, but face possible extinction in the wild. It's definitely worthwhile. I would encourage you to definitely take advantage of the botanical gardens in Durban. And here's just a photograph of the Golden Mile. Definitely worth a stroll during your free time. Now to my favorite place in all of South Africa is by far Cape Town. Cape Town is just, in my personal opinion, the most beautiful city on this planet. You have Table Mountain in the foreground. This is where the Indian and Atlantic Ocean meet. You can venture down to the Cape of to Cape Point. Put your toes in the water on the Indian Ocean side, and you're going to feel the warm water because of the current will be coming down from the equator. And venture over to the Atlantic side, dip your toes in the water. It's going to be quite cold because of the currents coming up from Antarctica. There is so much to see and do in Cape Town. The animals that are available are going to be the penguins and the dassies. The must-see is definitely going to be Table Mountain. You can venture over to Robben Island, where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for many, many years. And of course, the Cape Point, where the Atlantic and Indian Ocean meets. You can venture into the Winelands, and we'll talk a little bit further about that. And the ship actually will be docked right adjacent to the V&A waterfront area. So you literally walk off the ship and you're stone's throw from the waterfront area of Cape Town. Here's just some beautiful views of Table Mountain. And it's definitely worthwhile to go to the top of Table Mountain. And there's no better view that can be had by going to the top. But a couple of tips: if you're not booking one of our tours, be sure to pre-book your tickets online to go to the top of Table Mountain, and stay on top of the weather report, as because the cable cars often will close if the weather is inclement with winds or intense cloud cover, otherwise known as the tablecloth. Once you're atop, you're going to find walking paths around it, offering incredible views of Lionhead, the 12 Apostles, and just the beautiful skylight of the cityscape. And if you so choose, you may want to venture over to Robben Island. For nearly 400 years, Robben Island was a brutal maximum security prison where Nelson Mandela, along with hundreds of other political detainees, spent 18 years in a tiny cell during the apartheid era. It actually now is a UNESCO heritage site, and it's kind of like the Alcatraz for South Africa. And of course, the Cape of Good Hope that I mentioned earlier, this is where the Indian and Atlantic Ocean meet. And I would be remiss not to encourage you to venture to the Winelands area. Now, keep in mind, at the tail end of the cruise, the ship has a double overnight in Cape Town. So the ship will be your hotel for 2 full days in Cape Town before you disembark. And in my opinion, the South Africa wines are absolutely incredible. And there's no better reason not to venture into the Winelands area, kind of the Napa Valley of South Africa. If you don't want to venture out over to Stellenbosch or Franschhoek, which I would say is approximately around a 75 to 90-minute drive outside of the city, adjacent to Cape Town is Constantia Vineyards as well, and it's absolutely also quite beautiful. One of my favorite wines that I discovered when I went back to South Africa a couple of years ago is the Pinotage. If you are a red wine drinker, the Pinotage is absolutely incredible. It was actually developed by a scientist in South Africa back in the 1920s. It was a hybrid grape between a Pinot Noir and a Hermitage, and then they created the Pinotage wine. It grows very well in the soil in Cape Province, so definitely encourage you to check that out as well. And some of the incredible things to do, it really is, you definitely want to venture along take the coastal drives and just venture along the coastline. It absolutely is stunning. And these are 2 of my personal photographs from when I went back there a couple of years ago. And we were driving along the coast, and we went to one of these beautiful vista points to take photographs. And this young gentleman on the left, he was selling this incredible artwork, and I actually purchased the blue elephant sculpture. And what he does, he takes scrap automobile body metal, and he sculpts these incredible sculptures. And I bought the blue elephant. And then adjacent to where the ship docks is the waterfront area. And the waterfront area is an incredible complex filled with restaurants, bars, shops, boutiques, and there's a lot of street performers. And this was just an incredible group of street performers that was performing when I was there. And here's just some beautiful views of the waterfront area. So again, the ship is your hotel for the last 2 nights of the cruise. And I definitely encourage you to take advantage as much as you can of Cape Town. Alrighty, Melinda, I'm going to give this back over to you.
Okay, fantastic. Mitch, that was fantastic. It's such an exciting voyage to me when I'm looking at it. Not only does it include multiple opportunities to go to safaris, which is not always an opportunity when you go to South Africa, but it's multiple choices, multiple animals, the elephants and then the crocodiles. That's really a cool thing. But I love it includes that, but it includes cultural experiences, includes historic, and a lot of food and wine, and that's always fun. So we have a group going in 2023. So next year, January 3rd, Sue, who is going to be the group leader, and she has a great deal, I think, 12 nights on a cruise. It's such a $37.99 per person, and that includes all your accommodations, most of your onboard meals, your onboard entertainment, your complimentary Azamara evening, gratuity spirits. bet if you can read this, and I'll make sure to send it to you an email. By the way, this is being recorded and will be sent by email to you tomorrow. If you have a question, please go ahead and put it in the chat box. But this is an incredible deal. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know we already have about 8 people already joining us on this cruise, and it's just a great way to see South Africa, as you can see from Mitch's presentation. Mitch, you want to go to the next one?
Absolutely.
Sue is going to be the one who's leading the group. Sue has been working with Travel Central for about 20 years. She's a retired teacher and she loves to travel. She is going, just to give you an idea, this year she's going to Egypt in March, Canada and New England in May, and then she's going to South Africa in January. So she's an excellent traveler, and just really when we host a trip, it's just having someone there to help you. I mean, and to form a community and have a group. It's not that she'll just be helping you get around and making sure that all of us are all happy while we're traveling. So that will be her goal. But she's a wonderful person as well and an excellent traveler, and will be very helpful. And then I think we have the best That's all right. If you want to go ahead and talk to them about this, Mitch, real quick, it's
absolutely. So we have an exclusive sale that will begin tomorrow for Travel Central. If you book any new FIT booking, you would receive an additional onboardship credit of up to $500. It would be available on any new FIT booking. So if there is another destination in the world that you'd be considering with Azamara, definitely reach out to one of the travel professionals at Travel Central, and they'll steer you in the right direction.
Great. And just so y'all know, all FIT means is independent travel, that the 2 of you go and you have one cabin, not a group. And that's, so I know FIT is kind of a travel agent lingo. And I think this is the most important thing. As I said at the beginning, we are definitely a team of experts here at Travel Central, and we are currently your ultimate resource. Whether you have future travel credits, whether you want to know what the testing requirements are, what do you need to know about enhanced safety and health, we can give you all that information. And we do everything. We do your air, we do your cruise, we do if you want to do a pre or post or go someplace else before South Africa, we can make all that happen and more. So that is what our expertise is. And finally, I think unless you have questions and you want to add them to the chat box, we just want to thank you for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed the presentation. We will definitely send it out by email tomorrow. It will be on our YouTube channel as well. So with that, I'm going to wait just a second. If not, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. And I don't see any message in the chat box. We do thank you for coming. I do and know we have a person on board who already has told me he's going on 4 Azamara cruises this year. So Rich, you're probably happy for that. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Happy New Year.